and welcome along to the Invincible podcast, brought to you today by NordVPN. Don't forget, you can get your NordVPN, and we're going to give you more details of that coming up. Coming to you today from the Tollington pub. This pub's at the height of the community right here in Islington, a stone's throw from Arsenal's football ground, and a popular haunt on a match day, both before the game and after the game, for all football fans, right here at the Tollington. And you're known to be in here, haven't you?
Yeah.
Have a quick drink.
A quick drink in here, and I'll tell you what, this place will be rocking.
It will be rocking come this Sunday for the game against Man City. So if you are coming here on Sunday, make sure you get here early because, this place will be rocking. As I said, this video brought to you today by NordVPN. And to show you how it works, check out Lee now with some of his skills.
It's somewhere in London and it's looking pretty red. Lee Judges is attempting to score some new content. He's got to get past a hacker, malware, and password attacks. Lee takes off. But look, the hacker sends password attacks towards Lee. He's dispossessed of all his passwords and data. He goes again, but he's hacked to the ground. Look at Lee's in pain and they're mocking him. Wait, he's got a last minute transfer deal. He's got NordVPN on his team now. I mean, is that even legal? Oh, that's next generation encryption, absolutely blinding the opposition. And the fastest VPN on the planet flies past password attacks, takes down the ball and scores! That's fresh content on your favourite streaming services. You're protected on multiple devices, back of the net. Just change your location in the app. Go to nordvpn.com/AFTV now.
So if you want to have skills like Lee Judges, check out NordVPN. Click the link in the description and you can get their special 4-month plan that they're doing right now. There's a big discount on it. You get 4 months free, absolutely freely. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee if you don't like it, but you will like it. Yeah,
guaranteed.
And it's very, very good. And all you got to do is click the link in the description right now to get involved with that. It's nordvpn.com/AFTV. And to be honest, it's a lot more skillful than Lee.
Oh, and I've got Joe behind the camera who can vouch for this. One take for the strike at goal. Bosh, straight in there. One take, as you said, they'll do that. Bash, top corner, in the bins, end of. And Joe is my witness on that.
Maybe you should have showed, Tommy Asu how to do that.
Yeah.
During the week.
As it happens, I reckon I should get down to the London Coney and start giving him some lessons on how to finish.
Yeah.
Because it took me one take, Bosh, in the back of the net. We take more.
All right, so click the link in the description to get involved with NordVPN. But on that, we just joked about it. It was the game on Tuesday in the Champions League. Disappointing to come away with our first defeat, by the way, of the season in all competitions. The first time Arsenal lost the game. Surprisingly as well, because we did go 1-0 up. But they equalised against the run of play, really, because when we went 1-0 up, how I break down that game, it started off, an unbelievable atmosphere.
Oh, it's incredible.
Unbelievable atmosphere. I mean, that atmosphere there, it will tell you have to go a long way to compete with that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not just, I've been to many stadiums in Europe and watched football games. I've been to Dortmund, all those grounds, and the yellow wall at Dortmund's fantastic, and many other stadiums. But what I liked about this place, the whole stadium was rocking. The end behind the goal, the sides, the upper tiers, the whole place was bouncing. They were loud. Their fans were there hours before kickoff. We saw them because we were there early.
Yeah.
They were ready for this game and they were right up for it. And it was a really, really hostile atmosphere. But despite, Lens starting really, really well, Arsenal then grew into the game, scored a brilliant goal through Gabriel Jesus. And then after that, we were dominating the game. And you're thinking, you know what? We'll get a couple here. But then they got the equaliser, unbelievable goal, a bit of a mistake there by Raya, kicks it out, they win back possession, they equalise. But then even after that, Arsenal again sort of dominating the game. Tommy Asu has that big chance where he should have buried it, hits it straight at the goalkeeper, and then literally after that, they almost go down the other, they go down the other end, breakaway goal. They threatened one a little earlier before that. They do another one, and again, another unbelievable finish by that Wahi, and they win 2-1. We couldn't then break them down after that. They got into a great defensive shape. And the thing is about it, it's another one of those games you look at, and you're going to get games like this in the Champions League that are quite tight games, but you've got to finish it, you know?
Yeah.
You've got to finish.
I think that was the problem. I'll look back at the game because you have to, don't you?
Yeah.
It's harsh to do it. But it wasn't a lot in it. There wasn't a lot in it, but it comes down to taking your chances. I do look back at the first goal. Do we really need to be playing like that when you're 1-0 up?
Yeah.
You know, do you really need to be taking risks like that? I know the risk for rewards if it's 0-0 but to be playing for Raya to be sort of playing really on pitch when I couldn't believe it when I actually see how far out he was. I'm not blaming him for the shot. I'm just saying like for that bit of play. I'm blaming like the way we set up there. You know, we're 1-0 up. Should we just go long and just play the percentages? I don't know. But what I noticed in the Champions League and what I've noticed even in the Premier League is they're brutal with their finishing. You know what I mean? Lons are not like going to win this competition by a long shot, but they took their chance. They had 3 chances, Robbie, and took 2 of them. I look back at the Tottenham game. You know, Tottenham had 3 chances, took 2 of them. We're having 5 or 6, and we're only scoring 1s and 2s. You know, and Trossard missing an absolute gilt each chance, you know what I mean? Like now, if he scores that, Havertz gets an assist and everybody will be going, oh, he played a little bit better. Nelson at the end misses a good chance, you know, as you say, Tomiyasu.
The Tomiyasu one's the one.
Well worked for a corner, by the way. Really, to get him into that position and, you know, a yard either side or even like half a yard either side, it's a goal.
It kind of needed to fall to a more accomplished finisher, someone who's used to scoring goals.
He hit it well enough, didn't he?
He hit it well enough, but he just hit it straight at the keeper, you know what I mean? And I think if it's a striker that falls to, they maybe compose themselves a bit more and slot it into one of the corners. But you are right, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, I think you could play another 3-4 games, right? And I'm not sure if you'll have 2 better strikes.
No.
Because both of their strikes were just so precise, right? And both of those strikes were not easy.
No.
They're not easy, man. And they showed a lot of skill. I guess that's why they deserve to win the game, because they buried their chances with aplomb.
Yeah, and then,
you know?
And then defended.
Defended brilliantly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Jesus be sort of muscled or bullied out of a game like that by a central defender. You know, like there was some poor performances, as we know. Like I thought it was, you know, like the team actually on the day was poor. The selection was poor. I look back on it. I know you say about not resting players, and I get that.
The big argument we had.
Big argument we had.
We was arguing. Funny. So let me give people the backstory on this. So like going on our way driving over to France, because we went on the Eurotunnel, and driving over, the rest of the guys were saying they'd rest Saka for this game. I was saying no. If Saka's fully fit, if he's injured, if he's carrying an injury, I get it. Leave him out because we've got the game coming up on Sunday. But if he's not, to me, I weren't underestimating Lons, because I've seen him last season and I see the atmosphere at that ground. I've seen it. I mean, that weren't a one-off, the atmosphere. That place,
it was unbelievable.
I remember when they played PSG last year, I think they beat them as well there, and that place was rocking. And I was like, this ain't going to be an easy game. And I remember even a few seasons ago when we went and we played Rennes, and it was a similar thing. The atmosphere was incredible. They beat us 3-1 as well. We came a cropper against them as well. So I was just like looking at it and thinking, this is a big game. We need to have all the big guns out if they're all fully fit. But as it turned out, was Saka fully fit is the number one thing nobody knows. And now he's injured, probably going to be out of the Man City game. Mikel Arteta saying it's a muscular injury, which is bad news, because that sounds like then it's a hamstring or a calf or something, which means you can't risk him, surely, for that Man City game. And it's a big blow. Big blow. He's a big blow, missing him even in the game, because you could see we lacked pace down the flanks.
Yeah.
We didn't have any pace down the flanks, because when you've got Fabio Vieira and you've got Trossard, none of them are quick. None of them have got the ability to beat players. You know what I mean? With pace, they've got they're both ultra skillful players. who can, bits of trickery and that, but they're not going to beat. And I think pace was required in that game down the flanks.
Yeah, and obviously Martinelli's a big loss and
Massive,
massive loss. And listen, I see what everybody's saying when people turn around and say you've got to play your best team and all that. So my argument to that is, well, why rest Ben White then? Why take Ben White out if you've got to play your best team? And I think that the reason people are turning around and said to me, because there's not much of a difference on Tomiyasu. Well, you can't keep playing a player because you haven't got an adequate replacement in there. You've got to trust the squad. And I just look at it, a lot of the decisions that Mikel made on Tuesday, just, baffling. You know what I mean?
In what way?
Well, you take Ben White out, Saka breaks down, you lose all your right side. He's completely new. That then affects Udegaard because he was poor on the day. And I just felt that, the substitutions that come on, I'm not blaming Mikel for this, every one of them, was poor. They didn't perform. I look at the team, two players walk away from that game with credit that can turn around and say, do you know what, I actually think two of them can walk in and go, well, I should be playing on Sunday. One of them will, one of them maybe not, and that's Rice was superb. Yeah. And Tomiyasu, I thought, even though he missed that chance, I thought played really, really well. The rest of them were all.
Saliba was good as well.
Saliba, I don't think it was.
I thought Saliba played all right a couple of times when.
Yeah, maybe he
matched the pace of that Wahi and
Gabriel probably were done their jobs. All right, I'll go along with that. Done their jobs. But then I look at other players. Zinchenko, how poor was he on the night? I look back at Odegaard went missing. Jesus not really at his best. Trossard was awful, Robbie. Absolutely awful.
He's just come back from an injury.
Yeah. So and then you look at the substitutions that come on. Vieira never contributed. Nelson come on. He ran the ball out more than he ran it on.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good. Then I look at Eddie coming on the last 10 minutes. Havertz I thought was okay in the first half, but when it really mattered when we was 2-1 down, he went missing, Robbie. Missing, and then eventually coming off. You can't be having that from these players. One of the reasons Arteta says he bought Havertz was for his Champions League experience. So when the going gets tough, and there's going to be tougher places than Lons, let's be honest, missing Robbie.
Yeah,
it was just a poor performance, I have to say, from the manager, from the players.
I don't know. I can't blame. I'm not really blaming the manager for that performance, right?
Well, I will do. Like someone said, where is Vieira's position?
Well,
is it a wide right player? I'm not.
No.
I'm not. It's not.
No.
So why are you putting him there? Why are you not bringing Eddie on and playing Jesus out wide, which is
True.
more of a natural position?
Done that.
Why hasn't he done that?
Yeah, all right. I
why
hear
don't
on
you put
that,
Havertz up front? Why don't you put Havertz up front, Jesus wide, and then put Vieira into the position that he's been playing? It was just all little things like that.
Yeah.
And listen, if they all go right, you have to say pat on the back to the manager. But when they all go wrong, you have to say no. I'm sorry.
I mean, you are right. None of the substitutions had zero impact on the game whatsoever. Zero impact. Right. I think out of all of them, Smith Rowe
done okay.
Looked like one who he could. He had a opportunity, sort of half chance.
Yeah, he did. He looked a little bit sharper than the rest.
But everybody else, man, they were awful when they came.
And that's another great point with what you just said there, right? I thought Smith Rowe, he's been involved in the last 2 games, right?
Yeah.
You just said it there. Oh, Trossard wasn't fit, man. That's awful. Well, why are you not playing? Why has he jumped over Smith Rowe for that position when Smith Rowe's been playing or has been available in the squad the last couple of games? Has been training. Trossard hasn't trained for 2 weeks. He comes in absolutely awful. Everybody's turning around and saying, "Well, he never looked sharp. He wasn't this and wasn't that." When Smith Rowe comes on, well, he looked better than whatever, but he's not playing. And there's those questions have got to be asked.
You've got to start thinking about now Smith Rowe starting games like that. I mean, it was just there was so many below par performances. a lot of that was down to how well Lens defended. They did, once they
I'll give them credit.
Once they got that second goal, their game plan was brilliant. They sat deep. They brought on more defenders and defensive midfielders and that, and they just stifled Arsenal. They snuffed us out. I felt in that game, right, that Arsenal sometimes you've got to have a plan B.
Yes.
If it's not working out. Now, it really is a thing that frustrates me sometimes to see, we go into, we're near injury time now. So it's like the 85th minute or something like that. And then all of a sudden, we're trying something different. Like we're throwing balls a bit longer. We nearly had joy from that. It was causing a bit of chaos in the box. Why didn't we try that from earlier? And that's one of the problems with Arsenal's team at the moment is that it's not really a plan B, is there? I mean, like you said, you could have thrown Havertz up front, got a few long balls in there, tried something a little bit different. Because I felt that they were looking a bit shaky at the end, Lens. When balls were getting thrown in, remember they had that clearance off the line, and that was just really being caused because all of a sudden now they were being asked to do something different, from the organisation that they had, and it created a bit of chaos in their box. And it's frustrating. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I do believe that when we get Lens at home, I do believe you'll see a different Arsenal. I think, but it was one of them that Declan Rice said in his interview after the game, they have to learn from it, and it's true. I mean, we're new back into the Champions League, and this is one thing we're going to have to improve is our away performances in Europe. They're not great.
Well,
they're not great at the moment. And going back to even the Europa League,
awful.
They weren't great. So we've got to improve that, right? Every ground you go to in Europe, in the Champions League, you're going to face the same type of atmosphere. It will be like that in Sevilla. I remember when Sevilla played Man United, their atmosphere was even probably better than that Lens one, right? So there's going to be a big atmosphere there. When we go to PSV, remember we went there
last year.
Lost
2-0.
We lost 2-0 against them. So we've got to get our act together. We got a bit lucky, really, with the results. Kind of went our way. We're still second in the group.
We was third when we walked out of that group. When we walked out of the stadium, we was third.
Yeah, we're still second, but only a point behind. But if we'd have won that game now, you're just looking at it thinking, right, win your next home game. You're almost there.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. And listen, our European record under Mikel is shocking. It's shocking away from home. There's not been I don't think, a good performance whatsoever. I can't remember one. And it's no good all this singing this song for 2 years. You know what I mean? We're on the way to Champions League, and you're gonna be out of it before you know it. Listen, Seville in 3 weeks' time, Robbie. That's on the back after the Chelsea game. Is on a Tuesday night as well. So you're playing Chelsea on the Saturday, and then you've got to travel to Seville on the Tuesday. We have got to get something from that game. A draw, or
we've got them back to back, haven't we?
Because then the pressure if you don't, comes in at home, and you know what, we're not absolutely like a fortress here at home. So I am a little bit wary of it now.
I'm not panicking yet because I still feel that, having seen all the teams in the group, I still think we're the best team in the group. And I still feel we'll get out of the group, and I still feel we'll top the group. But like you said, the away performances have to be better. That is a huge game in Seville. We can't afford to lose it. A draw wouldn't be the worst result. But we can't afford to lose it. And now we have to definitely win all the rest of our home games. That's what we have to do. We've got to win the rest of our home games to get through the group. And I think it showed on Tuesday that it's difficult in the Champions League. It's not the Europa League. If you go away to teams and you're not on it,
you're going to get beat.
And let's be real, we've got a favourable group.
Yeah, and that's one of the things.
Shouldn't really be losing to teams like that.
Do you know what? And you made a great point. Even going down there, you can't, disrespect Lens. Now, let's be honest. I don't think there was that many Arsenal fans that were predicting that we'd lose that game.
No,
you know what I mean. But I'm going to be
unbeaten till that game.
I'm going to be really honest about it. I actually thought Arsenal would win the game. Right?
Yeah.
I did.
So did I.
But when I got there and I see the atmosphere and I see what it was like in the town, my first thought was, "Whoa, they are up for it." And I honestly think if you hadn't been over there, you wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
You know, like 5 hours before kickoff. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember we was walking in and we was driving in and he was going, well, ain't nobody going to work today or something like it was like we thought like, you know, it was more like 2 hours before kickoff.
Yeah.
And then when you got into the stadium, you thought, well, that inspired them. I don't care what anybody says. You know what I mean? It's 20 years. You know, we've been out of Europe. We've been out of Europe for 7 years. And look what it was like when we played PSV. There was the buzz and everything. Great. We was all buzzing for it. 20 years it's been for them.
Yeah.
And they was really, really up for it. And I thought, this is going to be a lot tougher than what we thought. And as I say, I felt at 1-0, I thought, you know, I turning around and saying, we've done well.
We look comfortable.
But then you can't be doing the things that
self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted.
I think the thing, right, this season, that's a bit upsetting if you're an Arsenal fan, if you're Mikel Arteta especially, is that when you look at all the goals, if you was to look at every goal we've conceded this season, has been our own fault.
Yeah, we have done that.
Every single one has been like us errors leading to goals, and you saw that the other night, right? And then Tottenham. I mean, you know, we've got to cut those schoolboy errors out. The basic errors.
Yeah, and I thought
Jorginho giving away the ball in the middle of the park to lead to. You know what I mean? We've got to make teams work harder.
You're 2-1 up when you done that. Right, and I blame Jorginho for it, but I'm also going to blame Arteta, right? And I'll tell you why I blame Arteta, because I watched it again the other day. You know, when we're 1-0 up, we're 2-1 up against Tottenham. As soon as Jorginho gets the ball, our centre halves completely spread out. And even when you're 1-0 up and you're in Europe, you know what I mean? The centre halves go on. He puts that ball into Tommy Asu. Now I'm blaming.
No, you can't blame Arteta for that.
I tell you why I'm blaming.
That's the way we
play.
But
I tell you, that's the way that we're told to play. Now what I'm saying
there's nothing wrong with that. If it was a simple passes there and options for Jorginho to make.
Yeah, I know that. But
that's how we play. That's how we play.
On that one on Tuesday night, there was a risk. There's a risk, right? I'll tell you where first of all there's a risk. You've got Raya playing 10 yards outside of his area. Right,
but that's how we play.
Yeah, but you're 1-0 up in Europe in a hostile place.
That. But it's early in the game. It's early in the game.
But don't need to do it.
No, but hold on.
What happens if he slips over and they run into the thing?
I feel if that's like in the 85th minute, I can see you, or in the 80th minute, I can see with you, right? That stage 1-0 up, just shut it down. Go. But to me, that's early in the game. You're looking at it thinking, right, we're 1-0 up. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. But you know what I mean? So the way in which we play, and you know, you even look at teams like Man City, when you watch how they play, they take lots and lots of risks within the game. But what they do is they don't make many mistakes, right? So
we've got a team that does, Robbie. That's my argument. You've got a young team that does. So when you're 1-0 up in a hostile place, don't give them anything.
But Jorginho, let's go back to the Tottenham game. Jorginho.
Well, he's more experienced and shouldn't be.
He's an experienced guy, you know what I mean? So,
but even though I'm saying,
we've got a style of playing. I hear what you're saying in a way.
I'm saying when you go all through your game plans and everything like that, I get it. You're 0-0, do it. When you're 1-0 up away from home, don't take no risks now. Right, we go to a different option. We different pattern. We go longer, like we stifle it up, like, you know.
You don't really play like that, though, do we?
No, we don't. But they did. When they went 2-1 up, they put in banks of 4, and they never took no risks. You know what I mean? Like, and never give us anything. And that's what I'm saying. You know, the same with Jordan. We've got 2-1 up against Spurs. Next 5 minutes, don't do nothing silly. Play long.
That was criminal.
And that's what I'm saying. We just continue to do what we normally do all the time. And that is my criticism of it. Like it was, you know, you look at that and you think how hostile it is. And to be fair to Arsenal and to Arteta as well, that first 20, we've quietened it down a little bit.
Quietened down the place.
So then we give them that goal, and from that moment on,
an explosion.
It was an explosion, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I just feel it was. I look at that. Like, I watched it the other day. I thought, I can't believe where he is. We're 1-0 up, and he's playing centre half. I'm not having a go at Raya for that. I'm saying that he should be in his goal, right? And then if the ball comes to him, get it up there and play from there.
It's kind of the way we play. It's kind of the way we play, and a lot of teams play. It's that risk and rewards style football, but
we're 1-0 up.
Yeah.
That's my argument.
Well, you know what I mean. Risk and rewards comes into play again this weekend, right? Because, Manchester City, we have a horrendous record against them. They're the champions. They won yesterday as well. They played RB Leipzig. Very impressive away performance, winning 3-1, bouncing back off the back of a couple of defeats. By the way, Haaland played the whole game.
Yeah,
he weren't rested, was he?
No.
That's what I'm saying. They played their best player.
Has he been injured the last 3 games and taken off in the last couple
I don't know if he's fully fit or not, but he played the full 90. But that's going to be a tough game. That was an impressive win by them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about us. We've just not been able to turn them over. And then now the task, if there is no Saka, is going to be even harder. I mean, what do you think?
Well,
I mean, to me, I've got some ideas around that game. Like, number one, right?
Go on, you go first.
If Thomas Partey is fit, I know he didn't come 100%? On the other night. 100%.
Or you're going 80.
Right, 100% fit. If Thomas Partey is, I may even go 80 here. But if he's fit, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, and Martin Odegaard in midfield in that game. They got no Rodri in that game. They had Rodri playing in that game against RB Leipzig, right, because his ban doesn't extend to the Champions League, but they have no Rodri. Chance to try and control the midfield. That is where you can get at City, right? If you can control that. It's something we've not been able to do in any of the previous games because they've had Rodri, they've had De Bruyne. They ain't got those two. They've still got brilliant players in there. Foden's been brilliant this season. They've still got great players in that area. Kovacic has come in and done well. But if we can get Partey, Rice, and Odegaard in there, try and control that midfield. I don't want to see Havertz in there. I don't want to see Vieira in there. I want to see those three.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see in that game. It's time for those three, if Partey's fit. I'm hoping.
Well, he was on the bench.
He was on the bench, and I'm hoping he didn't come on the other night because he's thinking to himself, I want him fully up for it, fully ready for the weekend.
I'm with you on that.
Right?
80%, even if he's...
Yeah.
We know, listen, one thing is I guarantee he's not going to last the game because, so I don't mind 70, 80 minutes of him and then you bring on Jorginho or Havertz, whoever you want to bring on.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on that.
At the back...
Just one thing on that midfield, Manchester City's last 3 games, right? Yeah. They've lost to Newcastle, lost to Wolves, won in Germany.
Yeah.
Rodri did not play in 2 of them, and he played in 1 of them.
Yeah.
Right? It is massive for them.
Yeah.
So you've got to now...
And you've got 2 great midfielders in Declan Rice. I thought was...
So
like
take,
you said,
take the midfield battle and win it.
Like you said, one of the few people to come out of that game of credit was Declan Rice. He was the one picking up the ball, trying to drive with it. He was the one breaking up play. But I even think you could play Partey in that sort of further forward role.
We can't do no worse than what
Put him in the Xhaka role.
Put him in that role.
Put him in the Xhaka role. Put Declan Rice there and Odegaard. Try and control that midfield. At the back,
go on.
This is just me, Obviously, Saliba, Gabriel. Ben White obviously will come back in, right? I play Tomiyasu on the left. I think we have to... I know we want Zinchenko. I know we want to be attacking. I think we have to remember who we're playing. Yeah. We're playing against a very dangerous team, right? Like, especially on the flanks. Grealish is back now. They got that Doku who scored last night. He's lightning quick. A really good player. They got Foden, you know what I mean? And Alvarez, who's been brilliant. He scored a great goal last night as well. They got Alvarez and, of course, Haaland. I think defensively, we need to be really solid in that game. I think we are not going to own the possession in that game. I don't like the way we've been conceding goals at home. I know last season, right, Tomiyasu came in, right, and it was his error that led to the first goal from De Bruyne. But if you remember rightly, I think Tomiyasu was just coming back off an injury then, right? And then he got injured again after that game, if I remember rightly, right? But I would like to see a solid back 4 And for me, that's why I wouldn't have Zinchenko in from the start in this game.
Oh.
I don't know what you think.
No, I'm going with Zinchenko because I think that we need to dominate or try and dominate, particularly at home. I think with Rodri out of the side, it does take a lot away off of them. It does. Look how they were yesterday. They dominated the game. Like they haven't dominated it. They
dominated the game against Wolves as well.
But every time
they dominated the game against Wolves, but it's just that when you was able to spring the trap now, it was easier to
sprint. And once you did sprint, once you did take it off of their midfield players, then they're exposed. Now, because you've got your wide players bombing on and all that, like Rodri he don't give the ball up like that. So I think if we can get there, then the likes of getting into that area, I do feel. Listen, if I'm not going to disagree with you. If Tommy Asu is playing, I wouldn't turn around and go, oh, that's a wrong decision. But I think that Zinchenko does give us something in that what he does. But there will be times when he's going to have to defend Robbie. Like, and again on Tuesday and the last couple of times, he's been found wanting a few times
defensively.
Yeah, I think
that's what I mean.
I think
attacking wise, brilliant. Defensively, I would rather have a more accomplished defender in Tommy Asu. I just feel that we've got to respect what we're up against, right? We're up at that attacking.
I wouldn't go
Alvarez, Haaland, Foden, Grealish, Doku. I'm worried that they are brilliant. You know what I mean? And they're going to have most of the ball, and I just like.
I think it's an interesting argument. I see what you're saying, and I can see the other side of it as well. Like, do you know what? I'm going to be if you want to push me, I think if we was away from home, I'd definitely go for that. But I think we are the home side, and we've got to.
But when you play them, it is like you're away from home.
Yeah, but like,
when it comes to possession and things like that.
I get that, but I felt that a couple of years ago, even though we lost 2-1, we did dominate the play, and Rodri was in there that day.
Yeah.
So I think that we've got to be brave in this game.
Yeah.
Got to be brave.
All right. Up front, I want to hear what you got to say first. Up front, what would you go with up front? Because obviously now with the Saka injury. Let's assume that Saka doesn't make it. Right.
I'm taking a gamble on Martinelli if he's.
Let's assume he don't make it as well.
If he doesn't make it
let's
as well.
Let's assume he don't because
there may be trouble ahead. One of them's got to play like.
I think we've got to. Let's assume that they don't. They both don't make it.
Right. I'm going. My front three would be Trossard, Havertz, all right. Down the middle, Jesus on the right.
Ooh. Havertz.
Reason being, I thought his best game for us was in the Community Shield against Manchester City when he played that role.
Yeah. Forgot about that, yeah.
So that would be the one thing.
Held the ball up well sometimes.
Give us a platform, which I think Eddie doesn't quite do. And I think that we're going to need that. And if obviously like Thomas Partey don't fit and Havertz goes in there, then it's Eddie that goes up there. So like, but we're saying that we're going to go with Thomas Partey. Yeah, so I will go that for it. I really like to see Jesus down the middle, but I think if for this game now, I don't think he's going to be. So for me, that would be my front three.
Do you know what, right? I wasn't thinking that, I'll be honest with you. I was thinking Jesus, Eddie and Trossard.
Again, with both of us not put Smith Rowe in there.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Smith Rowe in yet. But, do you know what, right? I'm going to defer to you, man. I kind of like that idea. You're right. I forgot about that. Like when Havertz played in the Community Shield up front, he held the ball up well and he sort of played in other players, you know what I mean?
And dropped in as well, like.
And
you know
dropped in to help out. And I can see that. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind, especially if Saka's out. Jesus definitely right-hand side for me.
And maybe Eddie on the left, so we've got pace from both flanks.
Yeah, and you could possibly put Eddie on the left. Because Trossard did have a poor game, but Trossard had he's just come back from injury, I guess, and before that game...
He's been playing
playing very well, so I would still be up for putting Trossard in, and you know that you've got quick players. You've got a quick player in Jesus and a tricky player out on that side. I'm not against that. All right, I'll go with that. I'm not against Havertz, but we need Havertz. We need you now to turn up, man. These are the games now.
This is it for him now. I know
These
it's
are the
only
games.
8 or 9 games gone, but he's on borrowed time now. He really is. Like, everybody's backed him. You know, like, you can go back to last week's Bournemouth game. You know, even Arteta sort of basically admit he's not having the greatest of times. That's why they give him the penalty and everything like that. The fans singing that song, it was all there for him. I didn't think he was that bad in the first half.
No.
On Tuesday night.
He had a chance as well, didn't he?
He had
that
chance. If he scores that chance, and we go 2-0 up.
And again, I think it wasn't an easy chance.
It wasn't an easy one, but
I saw him bang a goal like, in a similar one like that when we was in pre-season.
Yes, he did.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was like,
against the
a
All-Stars.
guy, you've got the ability. I think you could have done better there.
Yeah.
It lacked a bit of conviction. It was more like a. It's more like all right, let me get it on target
sort of thing, like, instead of just smashing it.
Yeah.
And then and his
this is
break-up
where
play was good.
This is where, as a player like Havertz, who basically reminds me of like when you've got a member of staff who's on probation, that you're oohing and ahhing about. You know what I mean? Like,
he needs to step up.
You know, you got a person who you're like, you know what? He's all right, man. I don't know, man. This is where this type of moment, this type of game, is the game that can change your whole career at Arsenal.
Yeah.
You go and put in a brilliant performance against Man City, lead Arsenal to a win over a team that we haven't won for in how many seasons now. All of a sudden, the attitude of the fans is different towards you. It's like, you know what? That's why he came. All right, now I get it. That's why we bought him, for these big moments. But so far, I've not seen anything that shows me that he's that big moment player. I haven't seen that yet. I have to be honest.
And speaking to a few fans after the game, and since being back, the fans are starting to lose patience with it now. They're saying, right, it's now or never. It's Sunday or bust for him, because basically what we're saying is,
well, it ain't going to be busts.
Well, no. What we're saying is, give me your front. What's your midfield going to be going into for the season? He's not in it. He's not in it. It's Thomas Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. That's the front. That's the midfield.
This is the obvious midfield for me.
So where are you going to play? He's got to somewhere stake a claim somewhere, because otherwise, why are you spending £65 million on a player that's just going to be a bit part
To
player?
me, when you think about it, right, when you look at that signing, this is the type of game in which you should be saying to yourself, you know what? This is why we bought Havertz.
Exactly that.
You're going to be the guy that's going to make the difference. And that's what my problem's been so far with Kai Havertz, is that he doesn't look like a difference maker. He just looks like another player.
I think that's a great point.
You look at him, he's just another player.
He's just a player doing a job.
Yeah, and when you spend that amount of money, I'm looking for a player that's like a difference maker. So them lot down the roads, they bought in Maddison. He's been a difference maker.
Yeah.
He's already been a difference maker. They're like, this guy's coming for big money as what they pay, and he's been a difference maker. But whereas they look at someone like Richarlison, who should also have been a difference maker, they're like, he's not a difference maker. He's just like, he's a regular player. He's just like,
You look at Richarlison now, you wouldn't say that he's going to get in Tottenham's top, £60 million player. We've got this dilemma now with Kai Havertz, where you play him, and he's not really. Everybody's fit now, Robbie, right? Everybody's fit. Your Saka, Martinelli's, they're all fit. Kai Havertz is not.
He doesn't start for me.
No, he doesn't.
No,
and
he doesn't
in those
start
10 games that he's had, he's not turned around and said to you, right, he's worth a while. I see Timber play 2 games, right? And if you think, right, with Timber, if you've got all of those players there, you'd be thinking to yourself, like, right, where can it, is he going to play Ben White? There's an argument that he could get in one of those top defenders out, even Gabriel
Timber,
coming out.
if he was fit, would be playing this weekend, right, in that City game. He'd have been playing that left-hand side.
That's what I'm saying.
Guarantee.
So I'm saying, you know what I mean? But you can't say that with Havertz. You know what I mean?
No.
Like I look on Tuesday's game. You know what I mean? Was a big. I thought, as I said, he'd done okay, but when it mattered, we're 2-1 down in the Champions League. He goes missing, and in fact, he's then taken off. You know what I mean? That is not what you do with your star player. Are Tottenham taking Maddison off when they're losing 2-1 to us? No, they take him off when he's 2-2 when he's run his course. But what I'm saying is these top players do not come off. Saka doesn't come off for us at any stage.
I mean, the example you said, right, is that we paid £100 million for Declan Rice.
And
right?
look at him.
And even what you said earlier, right, you're describing most of the performances as poor, but he's one.
No, stand out.
Right, so, and that's why, you know, you look on it and say, that's why we paid that money for that player.
So he's what? We pay 65 for
65 million.
105 for you know.
Yeah.
So there's £40 million worth of difference.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm watching at the moment is more than £40 million worth of difference.
No, Kai Havertz at the moment is looking like you paid about 15 million for him. And if you paid that, probably you'd be thinking, okay, let's give him a chance, let's wait. But it's a £65 million investment. That player needs to be a difference maker.
Yes.
Right?
Because we've got enough of them.
Remember that fan who came on? He got a lot of stick off of a lot of fans because he said it from quite early. But at the moment, he's being proven right at the moment. And it's still, still early in Kai Havertz's career. So it's very hard to... But he said he's not better than Xhaka. Xhaka was better, doing much more, making much more impact in those games and stuff like that. This is why this week is that game for Havertz, because Xhaka didn't really make no difference in the City games. He gets sent off and things like that. Right, Kai Havertz, if you start the game, this is when you
have to be
say,
a difference,
right, this is what, you know, Xhaka didn't do this against City. I did. That's what we want to see this week from Kai Havertz, because we're going to be up against it. I don't care that they've lost the last 2 games in the league. I don't care they're missing Rodri. They still got quality all around that pitch.
Yeah.
They still got Gvardiol, you know what I mean? They still got Diaz, John Stones, Walker at the back, Akanji, Ake, Edison in goal. In midfield, Kovacic, Foden. You know, they've still got quality. And then up front, Alvarez, Haaland. It goes on and on.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah?
And
Doku.
And they'll be up for
Grealish.
They will be up for it.
They will know the significance of this game.
Yes, they will.
Because basically, remember, if we win this game, we go above them.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty significant for Arsenal. So this is where Arsenal now, if we are going to mount a title challenge this season, I know it's still early in the season, this would be a real, I'd feel it would be a significant win.
Listen.
Because it'd be like, finally, Arsenal have learnt from the years gone by where they've just been humbled every time by Man City and they've turned them over. They've beaten us home and away for about the last, how many seasons?
So right.
Home and away.
So right. And listen, when we was battling it with Man United, right, it didn't matter if it was in September or whenever it was. If you that first game at home, you got to nail it. I remember once we lost to them at home. We played really, really well. And Roy Keane nicked a couple of goals at the end. And it was a game changer even early on in the season. I think it was early September. You knew then you was behind the 8 ball against them because they'd got more points than that. And then you got to go to Old Trafford. Like now you got to go to the Etihad. This game is so important that Arsenal win this game. Yeah. It's so important.
It's like some of them battles that, you know, they've had with Liverpool over the years. Liverpool have, you know, they've been one of the few teams they turn over.
Turn them over at home,
Turn them over at home, sometimes like in devastating fashion.
Yeah.
This is what we've got to try and do this week. And only way we're going to do that, we're going to have to be at our absolute best. We're going to have to be disciplined in defence. And when we get those chances...
That is it. We've got to take those chances and we've got to be more ruthless in both boxes. And that means defending properly, not giving away silly goals. Raya's got to make sure that he's kicking spot on and everything like that. And then up front... You know, like it might be that sort of chance that Kai Havertz gets on Tuesday night. You've got to take it, Robbie. Like, you know,
Got to.
You know, look, I look back at Tottenham. I know we dropped points against Tottenham in the end. Probably Tottenham deserved their point, but at 1-0 we had a absolute gift of a chance to go 2-0. If you get that against City, I don't want to be saying, oh no, he should have scored. He should have scored from that night. When we get that chance, bang, yes, get in. Not oh no, oh that's going to come back and haunt us. Yeah. And that's what we've been doing far too long in the last couple of games. You know what I mean? Like I look, you know, that one against on Tuesday night. If he scores that 2-0 up, Robbie, it's a different game.
Different game, completely
so
different game.
So it's so important that we take our chances.
Prediction.
I'm if I hope, and I do hope, that there's a certain couple of players playing, I think Arsenal win it 2-1.
Okay.
Right, but if I see that, I know it sounds silly, and you know, people go at me, oh, you're negative and all that. When I see that team sheet against Tottenham, my heart sunk. Right, when I see that team sheet on Sunday, I want to be buoyed by it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be going, oh no, deflated. If I look at it and I go, oh, I'm happy with it, I think Arsenal will win.
Yeah, I was going to go a draw. Still not sure we got enough to get over the line against them.
I don't think a draw's good enough for us.
But
I really don't.
I'll go 2-1 with you as well. Let me be positive. Love to think, hear what you guys think. How can we beat? What do we do to beat Manchester City? What does the tactics have to be? What does the team have to be? And I want you guys to think about it in this way, that we're missing Saka and Martinelli. Assume we're missing both of those two. What is your team? Put it in the comment section. What team would you like to see start that game against Manchester City? I'd really like to read through those comments and see what you guys are thinking.
Do you think Martinelli will be on the bench? I think he will be. I think.
Or as they say in Qatar, inshallah.
Inshallah. I think that he will be on the bench, and I don't think they're going to make a big deal out of it with like they did with Partey, always training and all that. I think they're going to keep it very, very hush hush.
Well, that would be a real boost. Guys, don't forget NordVPN. Head over, click the link in the description. NordVPN/AFTV, and you can get up to 4 months free with their special offer on NordVPN with their brilliant 2-year plan. So head over to there right now. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee as well. And also, don't forget to check out the Tollington on match days. Even not on match days, during the week, it's a great place to come. They do great food in here as well. I can vouch for that. Yeah. Right, so head over to the Tollington as well. And once again, thank you very much to the Tollington for hosting us today for the Invincible podcast. Subscribe here to AFTV, and it's the big one at the weekend. Make sure you check out all of our great content coming out. We've got super fan debates with big Man City fans. Right, they're going to be giving it away. I don't even know what we're going to be able to say. We'll find something. Don't worry. We'll find something, right? Super fan debates, they're previews of the game.
Treble winners, but they're not invincibles, are they?
They're not invincible, no. Especially not this season, right? So make sure you check that out here. And of course, on match day, we'll be all over it. We've got a big watch along. We've also got us, we're going to be at the game. We'll be speaking to fans before and after the game as well. And you can get involved on Fan Zone, where you can come on live wherever you are in the world and speak about that game. Really easy to use. Even I was using it for one of the first times when I was over in France the other day. It's literally, if you download the app AFTV Plus, it's literally the press of one button and you're in to the studio. So make sure you do that. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back next week, hopefully talking about a massive win in this game. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.